Hello, my people. Here we are. We're at lesson 1.4, interpreting evolutionary trees. And no, we're not talking about the type of trees that grow in the ground. We're talking about like family trees, and in this case, the fossil record. Uh, so let's dive in, shall we? Let's go to our warm up. So for this warm up, you're going to take these. These are two imaginary species, and what your job is to do is to look at all of these different parts, these body parts: skull, backbone, tail, front limb, back limb, and select the ones um, that you think these two species share. So you're going to look at this just like a paleontologist does, and you're going to pick out all of the structures that these two creatures share. We're going to go on to part two of part one, the second page of part one. So we're still with these two fossils. We're going to answer this question. Do you think the two species from the warm-up have ancestors in common? Go ahead and pause the video, and I'll circle back with you as we move on. Okay, so for this first part, my hope is that we would have picked out, let's see, skull, backbone, tail, and front limb. The only thing that they don't share would be the back limb, right? And then for part two, now of course we're still just learning, but I'll go ahead and give you a little hint. The most correct answer would be yes. Looking at this from a paleontologist perspective, we would say um, most likely these creatures share a common ancestor. All right, let's move on to part two. So here for part two, let's get these two vocabulary words covered because we need to understand what we're talking about here. So a descendant species, a more recent species that evolved from an ancestor population. So that would be the newest of the species, right? And then a common ancestor population is an older population from which two or more species descended. And now we're going to take a look at descendant species and common ancestor populations on page two here. So there's a section here that was part of your reading from last time, How Are You Like a Blue Whale? And this is just a little excerpt, a little graphic here. And here we can see our common ancestor population had backbones, a radius, and an ulna, lungs, and structures for producing milk. In other words, mammary glands. And then over here we can see the descendants. Descendants that share those traits from a common ancestor population would be the blue whale and human beings. And check it out. We've got backbones, radius, and ulna, lungs, structures for producing milk. We don't have tail flukes for swimming, but we do have all of those same things. That one of the key differences is we have that ability to walk upright. So now we're going to go through and we're going to use this diagram up here to answer these questions. What are the descendants in this diagram? If you missed it, rewind the video. What body structures did the common ancestors have? What are the body structures that both descendants share with this common ancestor? Why do paleontologists make diagrams like this? What are they trying to show? And for that last question, I'll talk you through it. So this would be an example of a species tree. And so here we can see, creating these trees, we can see which species are most alike and most different, and that helps us put together the fossil record. So go ahead and answer those questions, push that hand in button, and then pause the video to get that done, and then we'll meet you over here at the sim. All right, peeps. Here's what we are doing. We're going to go back in time and to look at the evolutionary tree. And our job is to pick a body part. So maybe a vertebral column, that's your backbone. Jaws, your humerus is your upper arm where your bicep is, your radius and your ulna, neck, and your limbs with digits, so like hands and toes, that type of thing. So you're gonna pick one of those, and then you're gonna follow these instructions here for the sim. And I'll also kind of walk you through it here. So we're gonna open the sim. We're gonna go to the free explore mode and press tree to open the tree view. So let's push this button. That should take us to here. We want to go to the free explore. And then in your upper right hand corner, you'll see the word tree. So click that right there. Now let's go back and follow our instructions. Navigate through the evolutionary tree and press the eye icons. That's hard to say. Eye icons on the tree branches as you go. Read the text from each icon until you find the eye icon that has the body structure you are exploring. So let's say you chose, I want to go, yeah, let's just do vertebral column. And so we're going to read the text until we find those vertebral columns. So we're here, and we're just going to keep clicking on these little eyes. Okay, so that's cells with DNA. That is cells with DNA in the nucleus. I'm going to have to make my screen smaller. You may have to do the same. Control plus, control minus is your friend. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got cells with DNA. So we're going to have to go a little deeper. So it looks like none of these are going to have a backbone. So we need to go deeper. Notice the family tree goes down, 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 and then we get to animals. So let's go to animals. Let's click on the eye. Tissues and nerve cells start to develop here. Muscles, and then some symmetric development where you're the same on both sides. Guys, if we're still not there, we're going to have to go to the vertebrates. Vertebrates. Okay, so a vertebral column. We finally found our backbone. So let's find something that has that. So we could say a hagfish. Hagfishes have that. Sharks have that. We can keep going too. This is where we're going to see different developments. And if you chose something other than a vertebral column, like jaws, humerus, neck, limbs, digits, all of that stuff, you can keep on following this trail to the right. But right now, I could just put in hagfishes and sharks if I wanted to, because I think, yeah, name two species that you found share the body structure you explored. Now, I don't have to do it just the first two. Remember, everything below this tree has a vertebral column. So I could have picked anything. I could have picked reptiles, birds, crocodilia. I could keep going. I could go deeper and deeper down here because I know that all of these creatures will have a backbone, and I can just keep exploring um, as much as I want. Oh yeah, coolio. All right, so friends, that's how you do the sim. So you're going to name the two species that you found. And then here's sort of a fill in the blank or a drop in the blank. So species inherit blank from blank. If two living things have some of the same blank, this means they are probably blank of blank that also had those blank. Okay? So I do want to point out that we're just dropping these in here where we think they go. These vocabulary words are posted with this assignment, right, along with your key concepts. So this should be easy for you to complete. And I'm going to ask that you do your best to do that. You're going to go on to page 2. So we're going to use our ideas from today's lesson to answer this question, which we kind of already did in our warm-up. Do you think the two species from the warm-up have a common ancestor? And again, I know we're early on this, but our thinking should be yes. They share a lot of the same structures. Last but not least, we are going to go to our homework section here. What we have is we have our species A and our species B from the beginning of the lesson and throughout. And now we have some friends down here. We've got 4 other fossils, and Your job is to choose which of the four fossils below looks the most like the common ancestor of the two species. And I'll give you a hint. You're probably, if you're going to get this 100% correct, you're going to pick two of them. There's two of these that you should be able to eliminate pretty quickly. And I'll let you go ahead and do that. Now, after you select your two, go ahead and answer this question. Why did you choose what you chose? And I'm going to stop talking while you do that. Okay. Hopefully you paused the video and you got that done. But I want to help clarify your thinking. Fossil 2 is missing a tail. Okay, so we probably want to eliminate that one. And then fossil 3 is missing front leg or front arms. So we should probably eliminate that one too. So our two that we should choose would be fossil 1 and fossil 4. All right, friends, push that hand in button, and I will catch you next time. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, be nice.